across the various networks. So make sure you're following me on all of those networks: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I know I'm leaving something out, so my apologies. But make sure you're following me on all of those networks so you can see the content I put on each of those networks. Yeah, being integrated with Twitter. So, some of that functionality will change. Um, Let me turn off the camera here. I don't know if the camera's on or off. Anyway, if anyone is able to chime in on the chat, please do. But I wanted to talk about Governor Noem real quick. So, Governor Noem became a darling of the MAGA movement because she's a beautiful, accomplished woman, a great governor, and has stood up to the liberal insanity, has stood up to globalism, etc. And people have really appreciated her. Good morning to you too, Robin. Thank you for tuning in. And I think the mainstream establishment is really afraid of Governor No, because we on the MAGA movement love her more than like almost any other governor. I mean, pretty much it's her and Governor DeSantis really have been held up as examples over this past year of standing up against globalism, of standing up against the swamp. And 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 so we love Governor Noem, and the left combined with the Republican swamp really doesn't want Governor Noem to succeed, and I'll tell you two reasons. One, she's MAGA. She is through and through MAGA, America First, anti-communist, anti-globalism, etc. So they don't want her to gain prominence and become more established. They want rhinos, okay? They want people like Romney, okay? Or even Governor Abbott, who I used to really love, who bowed the knee to the whole pandemic and really stripped Texas of a lot of freedoms. I mean, compared to Newsom and Cuomo, he looked like absolutely wonderful. But the stuff that he put into place in Texas was not good. It wasn't good at all. And he really kind of destroyed his political future by his handling of the coronavirus. Now, here's the other thing. When you look at like the real establishment, the deep state swamp, so to speak, if we want to call it that, they want to keep the Republican Party as the party of old white men. They want to keep that narrative because they want to portray the Republican Party as a bunch of racists. Because remember, like even when Romney ran, they turned Romney into like a racist dog abuser. And so they do this. And I've noticed this since I was a kid and since I was a teenager. And I remember, what year was it that what's his name ran? Herman Cain. And when Herman Cain was running in the primary, I liked him. I really liked him. I thought he was one of the sharpest, most accomplished people running in the Republican primary, and I supported him. And I remember talking to my dad, and my dad was like, "Yeah, I think he has a real chance." I go, "No, he doesn't." I'm like, I like him, I support him, but he doesn't have a chance. They won't let him get the nomination. And he goes, "Oh, what do you mean they won't let him get the nomination?" And I wasn't even thinking like the deep state thing. I was just thinking Democrat opposition is going to intervene in the Republican primary. And I go, "Oh, they're going to find some kind of dirt. They're going to torpedo him because the last thing the Democrats want is a black man, a black conservative headlining the Republican ticket. There's nothing that the left hates more than a black conservative. It, 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 it's true. Look at how they try to destroy them, and it's absolutely disgusting. It really is. It's absolutely disgusting what they do. Now, sure enough, I was proven right when they found some, dirt, some, sexual harassment case, and it torpedoed his chances. The same thing is happening with Governor Noem, and that's why I'm mentioning this. Same thing is happening with Governor Noem. They do not want a strong, beautiful, accomplished woman being the face of the Republican Party. They don't. So the same reason why they destroyed Alan Keyes, the same reason why they destroyed Herman Cain, the same reason why they're trying to destroy Senator Tim Scott, and I have issues with him. But the same reason why they're going after these people, they're going after Governor Noem. This is a hatchet job by the Republican swamp, backed by Democratic interests as well. That's what this is. So, what is it that everyone's angry about? Let me just recap that for those who haven't followed it. So, uh, South Dakota is trying to pass a law saying that only biological women can compete in women's sports. That biological men, people who are born men, cannot compete in women's sports even if they identify as female. So it doesn't matter what you identify as. What matters is what you were born as, your biological makeup, because that makes a difference when it comes to sports. So that's what's being done. Now, Governor Noem was slated to sign this bill, and then she backed out, said she wouldn't sign the bill, asked for some revisions to the bill, and sent it back to the state legislature. And everyone's accusing her of bowing the knee to corporate interests like the NCAA and Amazon, etc., and saying that she's weak and that she's bowing to corporate interests and she wasn't willing to fight Amazon specifically. I guess Amazon wants to put some kind of facility in South Dakota, and if they do this anti-trans bill, then Amazon will back out, and so Governor Noem is selling out to Amazon. That's the narrative, and so I think it was the Daily Caller. It's put out by the Heritage Foundation. They put a big hit piece out for her. Now, when you read it, now I watched her interview with Tucker Carlson. You need to see that because Tucker really went after her too, and she defends it by saying, "Hey, I was advised by my legal counsel that this bill opened us up for litigation, and I wanted a bill that we could defend." Now, I think she was, and the problem that Governor Noem did is she didn't articulate this properly from the beginning, and it was a little too late. She should have been talking about this all along, but evidently, over the last couple of months, attorneys have been talking to her, and she's like, hey, she doesn't want to fight a losing battle. So she hasn't said she won't sign a similar bill. She's actually said, I want to sign a similar bill, but there's severe problems with the way this bill is written. It's a trial lawyer's dream. Well, that's no surprise because a lot of these, most legislation is written by trial lawyers. So it makes sense that they would put something in there that would benefit them. So she doesn't want that. She doesn't want, athletic departments to be able to be sued left and right. So this is being exploited as saying Governor Noem cares more about Amazon than women's sports. Governor Noem cares more about corporate interests than the interests of her own citizens. This is being used to try to destroy Governor Noem's chances of playing a larger role in national politics. That's what this is being used. Because a lot of people aren't going to remember the details. They're not going to remember Governor Noem's defense. They're just going to remember that she bowed the knee and she compromised. Just like we remember the Pence compromised and sold us all out and betrayed us all on January 6th, and we will never forgive him. Now, this is a much lesser thing, but they're trying to make it kind of a similar type thing that she's letting women down everywhere. And that she's bowing the knee to the liberal trans insanity. That biological sex doesn't matter. What matters is what you identify as, which is completely bogus. This is a hit job, my friends. We need to we need to keep a close eye on Governor Noem. We need to hold her accountable. I agree. But this is not going to end my support of Governor Noem, and I don't think it should end your support of Governor Noem. That's pretty much it, my friends. Thank you for tuning in and listening to me on my drive into work. I hope all of you are doing well. Please follow me on all of the different networks that I'm on. Periscope, of course, is going the way of the dodo bird. So follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Turn the notifications on Twitter. So if I go live on Twitter, you can be notified. Follow me on YouTube. I'm going to be doing more video content on YouTube. And please also follow me on Parler. And I'm looking forward to Trump's new network that's going to be coming out in a couple months. Really curious to see what will happen with that. If it has a live stream feature, that's probably where I'm going to start doing all my live streaming. But Periscope was great. It had a really good discovery feature. So I really liked Periscope. It really worked well when it came to live streaming. Anyway, God bless all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. May God bless the United States of America.